So I'm just now getting back home from the store. Naan, you know, that's all I should have to say. And I forgot to get batteries for my mic. Good start. This is what I get. Oh my God! Okay, so what is naan, right? I think we all know what it is. We've all seen it before at the grocery store, but I'm gonna give you a brief explanation because you should know. So naan is sort of like a Middle Eastern flatbread. Well, technically it originated from Central Asia, but that's a different story. Point is, it's an Indian flatbread that is typically cooked on something called a tandoor. Well, what is a tandoor? So a tandoor is essentially an oven that's in the ground and it's super duper hot, and they would take naan and they would slap it up against the wall and it would stick and it would cook and get nice and charred and delicious. It looks kind of like this. And since I draw like a 4-year-old, I'll just show you an image of a tandoor somewhere. Right here. That is a tandoor. That is a real tandoor. Anyway, you don't have a tandoor, but I would assume that you have a cast iron skillet. And if you don't, you can just buy one. Or not, just go buy one. They're great. You'll thank me later. So we're basically gonna recreate the elements of a tandoor in a cast iron skillet. It's pretty straightforward. Let's just move on. You're gonna start with the dough. It's super easy. Now, just before you make your dough, you're gonna wanna go ahead and bloom some yeast. Now, we're using commercialized yeast, but typically I would use a sourdough starter, a teaspoon of sugar, and 10 grams of yeast, which is about a tablespoon. And that's gonna go in warm water, which is about 90 degrees Fahrenheit if you have a thermometer, but it should just be lukewarm to the touch. And I'm gonna take a fork and just stir it a little bit. That's it. Just let this baby sit for about 10 minutes and this yeast should get all bubbly. If it doesn't, your yeast is dead, bro. Ah yeah, now you can kind of see that it's starting to foam up a little bit. That is what you want. Next part of the ingredients, you're gonna need melted butter, some salt, sea salt, full fat yogurt, and then of course our yeast bloomed mixture that we've got going on here. We're gonna literally add all of those to 2.5 cups of flour. It is that simple. So I'm gonna go ahead and stir down my yeast mixture and toss that in. Next, we've got our full fat yogurt. It's gonna go straight in. Melted butter. You're gonna eventually turn it out onto the counter and knead it, but I just wanna start getting it together and turn everything out to the counter. We're just gonna start gathering the flour and kind of pressing it together. And you'll see that it sticks a little bit to your hands, but it'll, don't worry. It's gonna make its way into the right place. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the dough and I'm picking up a piece, folding it over, and then pushing it into itself. And then repeating that, turning, pulling, pressing down, folding like this, and then pressing down with the palm of my hand and pushing away from me. You don't need to do it that violently. Your arm might get a little tired, but hey, you know, it's a little workout for you. You're about to eat a bunch of carbs, you might as well get the workout in now, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna repeat this process till you get a nice smooth dough, about 5 to 10 minutes. Now, as you can see, we've got a nice smooth dough. You're gonna plop this bad boy into a bowl, covered with a lightly damp towel, and just let it sit for an hour. Let it rise until it's doubled. Remember, you want it to be doubled in size. You see, the beautiful thing about when you're waiting for this thing to rise is you can go do whatever it is you need to do. Go run some errands, go play some guitar, whatever you want to do for the next hour, it doesn't matter because it's just gonna be sitting there. We are done rising. Turn out our dough mass onto that. Then kind of like a pizza, we're gonna divide it into 8 equal portions. 7, that's 7 actually. I can't fucking count. So we'll just take one of these and just pretend that that's 8 equal portions. I'm gonna take one of these portions and kind of form it into a little ball. I'm gonna take a rolling pin and just roll it. And repeat that with all of your pieces of dough. Just as long as it is 1/8 of an inch thick of a sheet, you should be good to go. And repeat, and repeat. You get the idea. And there you go. And next. Now, for this next part, I might recommend you open up a window. It's gonna get hot, might get a little smoky, so just forewarning. Cast iron skillet here, it is rip-roaring hot and ready to go. Just like that, really directly on, and you're just gonna wait. You're just gonna wait until it is cooked on the bottom and nice and blackened, not too blackened, but brown in randomized spots and bubbly. You'll notice it starts to bubble. See how it's starting to bubble here? That's good. And boom, look at that. It's good to go. You're just gonna repeat that process with all of these bad boys. Some garlic, 2 cloves actually, 2 cloves of garlic, and just kind of like, this isn't really much of a brunoise, it's more of just like kind of a fine chop. Just to get it a little finer, you're gonna go ahead and run over that just a little bit. And just go over it enough, bring it back in, go over it again. You're doing this just to get it a little finer, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's pretty good, I'm happy with that. That's a good size finger for comparison. Go ahead and melt about 3.5 tablespoons of butter, garlic, and just let that cook for like 15 to 20 seconds, no longer. You don't want any color, you just want to get a little bit of the garlic flavor out. So in other words, it's done. Take some parsley and just chop that up. This is going to be added to the naan after the garlic butter. And that is it. Let's get these naan going. Now for the moment that you've all been waiting for. Yes, that's right. The final frontier. Anyway, just take your naan once it's done and just brush through that garlic butter and brush it directly on top. Be generous, don't be scared. That's what you want. You want it to shimmer. Slap it a little bit. Slap it a little bit. Go ahead and add some of that fresh chopped parsley. And then if you really want to be fancy, some flaky sea salt, because, you know, come on. That is it. You made naan. Super easy, way better than the store-bought version. That's all I have to say. I mean, it's carbs with garlic butter on it. There are no words.